Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Optimate 10 watt duo solar charger. Basically this thing, you put it on the side of your garage, plug it into your bike, and it harnesses the power of the sun to keep your battery maintained and charged up over the winter months when the bike's in storage. So if you're interested in whether this works, what the build quality is like and all those different things, stay tuned. But first, roll the credits. Okay, welcome back. Basically I have bought this because I have moved house and my new garage does not have a power outlet. There's no power to the garage at all, which is a major concern because when I'm storing my bikes over winter and there's long periods when they're not getting used, I don't want the batteries to get damaged. So I had to look for something that could be used as an alternative, and this seemed to be the best thing out there from all the reviews that I've looked at. So what I'm going to do, we'll do a little unboxing and take a look at what you get in the box, what the quality's like, and then after that we'll have a look at it working actually in the real world. So stay tuned. Okay, so in the box we get all the connectors needed. So you get the charging unit and you get all the connectors and various types of way of attaching it to your battery. You get a little instructions book, which no man ever bothered with in the history of being a man. That is the connector. It's a simple SAE connector. And then you have two bulldog clips that you can use for attaching to your battery. Or you have the more permanent, you've got the banjo clips, you can put them on, bolt them on, inline fuse, and then you've got your SAE connector there. So you can leave that permanently on the bike. This is the connector that I always use on my bikes. Just makes it easier. Wheel it in the garage, plug it straight in, job done. And there you can see there is the connector and the charger. Okay, so this is the solar panel. For context, that is my hand, that is the size of it, and this is a 10 watt solar panel. They come in different sizes. I think they come in 20 watt, 40 watt, 60 watt, 80 watt, so on and so forth. And obviously the more wattage, the bigger the actual panel is. Looking at these, I don't see why there isn't any reason why you can't join panels together. If you buy the SAE connectors 2 to 1, 3 to 1, whatever, and you could have a whole bank of these. But if you're going to do that, you might as well just buy a bigger panel anyway. But the option's there if you need it. This is the charger. When you look at the charger, there are different lights. So this little light here, this will flash on like a pulsing red light when it's actually charging. So during the daytime, especially when the sun's up, the sun does not have to be out. These still work on a grey day with cloud cover. It will still charge your bike, and you will see these little flashing pulsing red lights to tell you that it's charging. The different colours, the yellow, the blue and the green, are indicators of the actual level of charge of the battery. So when it's fully charged and it's just in maintenance, it will actually show green. When it's charging in between, then it'll either be yellow or blue. If it's red, then you've got a problem. If that red light is permanently lit, it means your battery's kaput. So what we'll do, we'll take a look at them actually in use. I have two that are working at the moment. I've got one attached to my wife's Honda NC750X DCT, and I've got one attached to my Benelli TRK. So we'll go and take a look at them, what they're like actually to use. Okay, so let's go and have a look at the item actually in use. You can see the garage that the bike's in. Let's come out to my yard and we'll take a look at the panels. Hello Mr. and Mrs. Mukos, how are you today? Absolutely stunning morning today. We've had nothing but storms for the last 24 hours, all day and all night, and it was absolutely howling. I thought the roof was going to come off the house. And anyway, I digress. So here are the actual panels. Give you a sense of the size. There's my hand. So they're just located on the side of the garage with a wire running through over the beams into the garage and to the bikes. It's now beginning of November. We're in the first week of November here in the UK and the Scottish borders. So we have had, as I've already mentioned, not particularly good weather over the last month or so. So these panels are actually on a westward facing wall. So that's where the sun sets over there in the west. It just disappears behind those hills with the copse on the top. And as I've said, weather-wise, it is sort of autumn coming into winter time here in the UK, and we don't get a lot of sunlight. So it does affect the ability to charge the bikes. I should imagine if you're living somewhere in sunnier regions of Europe, it's going to be a lot more effective with the amount of sunlight you get somewhere like Spain or Italy. Okay, let's take a look at the bikes. Okay, so here you can see the control units from the two solar panels outside. The orange flashing lights mean that it's not actually fully charged. When it's fully charged, it goes to green, and the flashing red pulses are that releasing energy into the battery and charging the battery. So at night time, when the sun goes down, this red indicator that's flashing, that stops and it just goes into maintenance, because obviously there's no solar light to provide power for the charger. Okay, so the wife's Honda NC750 X DCT. Now this bike has an old battery on it, and the battery isn't in the best of shape. If I was to leave this bike for around about 4 or 5 days without plugging it into a charger, it will not start. It doesn't totally discharge. There's enough power just about for dimly light the dash, but it won't start the bike. Actually, inside I do have a little monitor. Now, forgive me, that is upside down there. So that's actually reading 12.5. So that isn't too bad. I would expect it to be around about the 13 mark. Whether that'll be enough juice to actually start the engine, we will soon see. So the charger itself is actually connected here on a simple SAE connection. This wire goes direct to the battery, and obviously there is an inline fuse in between the battery and the connector for charging. Okay, so the cable's disconnected. The moment of truth. Will there be enough power to start the bike up? So let's see. There you go. Okay, so this bike here has been left in the garage for almost a month. I would say about 3.5 weeks without turning a wheel. What I will say is that I have found that when I first put this bike on charge the first time I used the charger, I only left it for a week. And when I come to start the bike, it wouldn't start. There wasn't enough juice in. So I think the fact that it was only left on charge for a week didn't give enough time for the charger to slowly charge the battery up. So as I've left it now for nearly a month, obviously day after day after day it's been trickle charging a low voltage into the battery and slowly building it up. So for long-term storage, if you've got a dodgy battery, this does work. However, if it's short term, if your battery goes flat in the case of this one over 4 or 5 days and you're only leaving it on charge for a week, here in the UK with the amount of sunlight we have, perhaps you may need a bigger solar panel to put a little bit more juice in so that it charges the battery a little bit quicker, if that makes sense. But if you're leaving it for, you know, like I say, this is about 3.5 weeks, I've left it on charge and it started fine. So for my purposes, it's working great. Okay, so my Benelli TRK, I'm not even going to attempt to start this one because I know it will start. I can leave this bike for well over a week, nearly 2 weeks easily, without charging it, and it'll start up fine. The battery's absolutely brilliant on it. I was out on this bike last week, so it's only been standing for roughly 7 days, and it's been charged into the trickle charger, so I know this will start no problem. Even if it hadn't had the trickle charger on, after standing for a week, this bike would start first time, no problem whatsoever. Well, there you go, guys. A short and sweet video on the Optimate solar panel trickle charger. So, am I glad that I bought it? Yeah, I'm definitely glad. I was very dubious. Obviously, living out here in the UK, in winter time, we don't get a lot of sunlight, and believe me, over the last month or so, we've had literally hardly any days where the sun has shined. It's been overcast, windy, rainy, horrible. And it's still managed to keep the bikes charged up. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with it. It's a great option if you've got no power in your garage, you know, no power outlets. And it costs nothing once it's up now. You know, I'll leave that. It'll run, it'll charge my bikes for free using the power of the sun. What more could you ask for? So yeah, very, very chuffed that it's working and I bought it. All that's left to say now is thank you very much for tuning in and watching this video, and if it's been of help for you, please press that cheesy thumbs up button. It does help the channel, and more than anything, please click on the subscribe button. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers now, and I'm really pushing to try and get 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It really would mean a lot to me. So if you can, feel generous. Take 2 seconds of your day, press that subscribe button. You won't get bombarded with emails. It doesn't cost anything. You're not signing up for anything. It just helps the channel out and puts a smile on my face. So anyway, all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. Ride safe. Bike Rider Reviews out.